Hey guys, Tisha here. Welcome back for another season 9 Sister Wives review. I was annoyed with this one too because I'm over the adoption subject, but we're going to go ahead and do what we do. So, we begin the episode still talking about this adoption thing that started about a year ago. It began with Cody and Mary divorcing, then the bald eagle and the bird getting married, then Preston, their father, being scared to sign over his rights to where they are now. I wonder if he knew that he would be removed from that birth certificate when he signed over his rights. And yes, you all, just like some of you all put in the comments, I am very bothered by the fact that this is really a thing and that this was allowed. And even better, what I noticed a few of you all said is that Cody didn't even have his name on his biological children, some of their birth certificates, like Christine, but he is able to do this for Robin's kids. Yet another dig at his family. So now they're moving forward with the adoption process. So they're about to head to the attorney's office yet again. And TLC is playing this overly dramatic music in the background to set the tone, like this is a scary moment. But it's not. Christine points out that everything is taking so long and it's been so stressful. I like Christine, but whom is this stressful to? Because to my knowledge, Mary's the only one who had to get a divorce, who had to file paperwork, who probably had the bird and the bald eagle pressuring her. So I feel like it had to add the most stress to her. Now, maybe it was stressful to her because of the possibilities of what Robin being the sole person could mean, but that's not what she presented to us. So even though it's stressful, they arrive to the attorney's office, all smiles. Cody says that Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna have now been a part of the family for 5 to 6 years, and that they've merged their family, that they are all together as one family. But there's been this nagging concern that if Robin were to pass during Aurora, Dayton, and Brianna would automatically go back to Robin's ex. And here's the thing. They make it seem like Robin's ex was so bad when the only problem with Robin's ex was that he was broke. He wasn't as bad as what Robin has tried to make it seem. She alludes to the fact that he was abusive to her, but I don't believe it. And she never said that he was that way with his children. So would it have been so terrible if they did go up back to his side of the family? Now, maybe they would be disconnected from their other siblings, but their father mattered too. It just doesn't seem like it. With the age that these kids are, I feel like that's complete and utter bird crap, because I've said it before. There are other steps that could have been taken. There were other things that could have been done. They could have written down something, had it notarized. There could have been steps that would have prevented the removal of those kids. I am my child's custodial parent. If something happens to me, the last person that he's going to go to is his father. You want to know why? Because I've put things in place that will protect my child, as they could have done also. But this was very much so a control thing and a money grab, a way to get Liebrows, her legal marriage, and the kids some dinero. That's what it was. So you got to put on the somber tears, okay? Because Cody says they're part of our family and they've been brothers and sisters for years. But if something happened to Robin, if something were to happen to Robin, then they would go back to a world that is just somewhat strange for them. And that is why the adoption is vital to their family. Which family is he talking about? Because the only family that this adoption was vital to was the family of Robin and Cody. It wasn't the overall Brown family. This adoption benefited them in no way. But these two individuals made it possible to get these adults and the kids on their side to make them feel like this had to be something that had to be done, which makes me wonder just how naive everyone in the family is. We see Ron, the attorney, let them know that the adoption will be done in a courtroom, and as a result, the courtroom's big enough for the whole family to come. Ron tells them that the kids may be put on the stand. It all just depends on what the judge decides to do, because the judge wants to make sure that the kids understand what's going on, and the bird does not want them on that stand. And I wonder why. She says it out of her own mouth that she doesn't want them up there. Robin says that one of the things that she's been doing during this whole situation is protecting her kids and not having them understand how intense this whole thing has been. I don't feel like it was protecting them. I feel like she was lying to them. I feel like she manipulated them for so long and had them believing so many things once they left, because she got them at a crucial age where she was able to do that. And she took them to this place and programmed them in whatever manner she wanted to, because as I said before, I'll never forget the episode where she was sitting there pointing to the different pictures and got to Cody, and she corrected Brianna because Brianna needed to call him daddy. So she got these kids to a place where we hear Aurora in the previous episode call her biological father, who was around when she was younger, Preston, instead of dad. Why couldn't they have two dads? I'm just wondering, why couldn't she still call her actual biological father dad? Why was it that she could only call Cody that? Because that's something that the two of them wanted. At that age, for her to switch off like that, no, y'all did that. I don't think that was that child, and I could be wrong. Let me know down below what you all think, but I think it was because she was programmed. Christine again says that it's been emotionally, it's been emotional and draining, and stuff, but it's nothing like it could have been. And I don't understand how this has been so emotionally draining for any of them. I don't. The person who probably experienced the most emotional pain was the man that they did this to, because it wasn't just a thing where it was Cody who did it or Robin who did it. It was all of the adults who were gung-ho about this. And it was also TLC, because TLC put out this narrative about this man without even doing their own investigation. But it seems that's just what TLC does. Shameless plug. You all, the book that I'm currently reading by Jill Duggar is actually uncovering some of the stuff that goes on with TLC. And it's getting better now that I'm in chapter 4 or 5. I can't remember which one I am at this point. But it just shows like how much they've weaved their way into this family as well, because I think Preston got played. And I think he got played by this network and by Cody and Robin. After Christine says that, the camera zooms into Mary. She said it was hard getting the adoption process started by doing a divorce. Excuse me, you guys. She claims, although she thought about it for a while, which is a lie, I don't think that Mary thought about this as long as she did. Because if she did, would she be as affected as she was by this? I don't think it's something that she really wanted to do either. I think that Robin and Cody manipulated her and worked their way into getting her to do that over time. She admits that she still struggles with the decision. Ron talks to them about how he's had clients in the past that got a divorce because everything was so tough, and then they ended up coming back together, getting remarried, and then dating, and then end up getting remarried and then getting divorced again. So it's important to understand that there are ups and downs in marriage. And while he's saying this, Mary's eyes are welling up with tears and she's trying not to cry. Meanwhile, the other ladies seem okay with this. They're even adding input. Janelle's one of those people and she's smiling while talking about it. But Mary isn't. How did the people around Mary not see how disconnected Mary was and how much visible pain Mary seemed to be in during this time? It just makes me feel like they really didn't care about Mary. Mary says her thoughts and emotions since the divorce have taken her by surprise, but right now her focus is the kids because it's all about the kids. We then see Maddie and Janelle walking to, I think it's Christine's house. Maddie has told her mother something that she now wants to tell her father and Christine, which continues to show you how close these children were to Christine. She says that Christine has been there a lot for her in her life, that she loves Robin and Mary too, but she wanted to give Christine something special because of all that she's done for her. And even now we see that they still have a very close bond. Maddie announces, "You're going to be a grandpa." She pauses and she then starts laughing and she says she's just kidding. I kind of wish that she played it out a little bit longer just so we could see. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Y'all, goodness. We could see how Cody would naturally respond. She tells them that what she really wants to let them know is that she's gotten serious with the guy, but she kind of wants to approach it the way that they would, which is by telling her dad first and allowing him to kind of handle it. We find out that he lives in Billings, Montana, and that they know him. And Cody's sitting there like, know him? Who could it be? There's nobody out there. I've worked out there for 5.5 years. I don't know anybody that would date my daughter. So she then tells them it's Caleb Rush. Christine says, Erica's brother? You then see confessional. Cody says, Caleb? Oh, hey. I couldn't pick anybody better myself. I don't know where he stands with Caleb currently with the way that he's treated Caleb's wife and the Caleb's mother-in-law, well, sisters-in-law, brothers-in-law, as far as Cody's actual children go. But we saw how much Cody gravitated towards him over the years, to the point where even Cody was sitting there crying when they decided to move to North Carolina. Christine squeals in excitement and runs over and hugs Maddie while they laugh. She says, I just love and adore him. We find out that this is the brother to Cody's sister-in-law, Erica, who was married to Cody's brother, Curtis, that passed. Whenever they talk about Curtis, I feel very sad, because Curtis seemed like he was full of life and he was such a nice guy the limited time that we saw him on the show. And he looks a lot like Cody, and even more so like Cody's mom. Janelle says it's not a second cousin being married here, that there's no blood relation. I didn't really need her to tell us that, but I get it. For those who didn't get it, she just wanted to put that out there. Christine says it is serious, that this is serious. And she goes, are you gonna marry him? And Maddie gets giddy and she says yes. Cody gives her a hug and says, I need you to put the brakes on it for a little bit. This girl went from letting her parents know that she was serious for the first time with a guy to now saying that she's going to marry him. This is the only time I kind of agree with Cody about putting the brakes on it. Maddie tells us that she met Caleb in the emergency room when her uncle Curtis passed away. Excuse me. That while you're sitting there, you're mourning and you're doing different things to try to, not sit in the grief. So they cracked jokes and they did whatever they needed to get by. And she says that through the mourning that they spent time together. She said she was attracted to him, but she felt that it was weird that their families were connected through marriage. And also it was weird because he's 10 years older than her, which Cody points that out. And Maddie quickly says, you have 11 years on Robin. And he says, I don't have a problem with it. So if you don't have a problem with it, Cody, why even mention it? She says, it's okay. And he says, yeah, it is okay because, Madison is different. She has an intense personality, meaning she's mature. She says over the years they talked and they text, and I'm sitting there, of course, I would hope so, because around that time you were a minor, because you're not that old here telling him about it. But a couple years later, he, just asked her if she felt that they should be together, because he kind of feels that way, and she agreed. She then says that since then, they've kind of been inseparable. So Janelle then tells her, like, look, I think you should let Mary and Robin know. So per her request, she calls both Mary and Robin and tells them to come over because she has something to tell them. They sit down. She lets them know about Caleb. They're excited, but they're shocked. Robin says, freaking hallelujah, it's this guy. They're a good family. Cody says, I'm rapturously happy for you, so give me a hug. So he gives her another hug. He says, if it's everything you want and hope it will be, then I'm okay with him. Christine says that the kids are growing up so much that she saw it when they were, going away to college. But this step with Maddie doing this, with Maddie meeting her soulmate and talking about marriage, makes her reflect a lot and just see how far they are. This right here to her is a game changer. And it is, because marriage is serious. We then see Cody, Dayton, and Robin head to the attorney's office because Dayton is 15. He has to sign the documentation that agrees on his adoption. Dayton says in his mind, this is a lot of mental stuff, because this is you swearing that this is what you want and it's legal. Ron says this is about you giving consent that you agree, and the judge may ask you to come to his chambers and talk to you. Dayton gets nervous being told this because it's so serious. He says it's nerve-wracking because he wonders what they'll ask of him, what he'll be asked. And Robin says the only good thing that she normally says, which is he's versed in adoption, this judge. He'll know how to talk to you. She'll just tell him your truth. Right. His truth, not hers, not the bald eagles, Dayton's truth. So Dayton is told by Ron that this also means that they will be liable physically if something happens to him, but we already know that Dayton knows this, because that's one of the things he said a few episodes ago, which makes me wonder if they filmed this out of context or if he just knew. Ron says you have his love, but now you're gonna also have, rights, like the rights of a natural parent. They pull the notary to have him sign it. Dayton says he already feels like he's been a part of the family, but he wants to feel complete, and that's what this adoption represents. You all may disagree with me on this, but I don't feel like they needed that adoption for him to feel complete. But if that's what he says, whatever. For me, I have a whole bonus mom that never had to adopt me to make me feel like I was a part of my other family, okay? We're a family because from day one, that's how she treated me. And once my father married her, that became another mother that did not try to step on my mother's toes, that did not try to compete with my mom, that made sure that whatever we did as a family, I was comfortable with. And to me, that's not what Cody did here. Cody didn't cultivate a relationship that to me was completely healthy, because he only did this as a means to help eliminate their father. He wasn't trying to be an additional father. He was trying to be the father. Dayton says, my mom loves him and I love him too. I feel happy to be with him and around him. Robin is in there, camera in tow, to take a picture of this, and it pissed me off because you're basically taking a picture of your son being excited about signing this paper that says that this is now going to be his father rather than his actual father. I just don't like it. I feel like it's really insensitive. He says it's a lot of pressure because this is the first legal document that he is signing. Cody said that this whole signature changed his whole life. And I was like, did it really? How did him signing this paper change Dayton's life? In what way? Because now you're his father and you can provide so much, even though it's not you that's providing it. It's TLC and the 3 wives. I'm not including Robin. She don't count. Because all Robin does, as I said before, is give up that cookie and take. She's the cookie monster. She gives away the cookie and then she takes more back. That makes no sense. It's late. Don't mind me. It's so late that my watch is dead. Cody says that Dayton doesn't quite know what he's doing here, that there's something much grander and deeper to this, and he doesn't completely understand the value yet. So if he didn't understand the value, then he shouldn't have done it. It's the day before the adoption hearing and everybody is excited. They're having a little anxiety, but they're happy. Savannah says that it's kind of cool that now they won't only be spiritually connected to Aurora, Dayton, and Brianna, but they'll also be legally connected. Janelle says that everybody's going to be there. We find out that Logan, Aspen, and McKelty have taken off the day from work to be there, and Leon is coming home from college. They say that they're happy, but there's still no guarantees. Now, I got to tell y'all what I really feel about this. Part of me, because of this, so many different ways we've seen them do things, and the many things that they've lied about or withheld from us, feels like they already knew that they had been approved of this adoption, because I really don't feel like they would have risked the entire family coming there if they didn't know it would be approved. I don't think they all knew, but some kind of way, I think Cody and Robin knew that there was a high probability that this was going to go through. But you all tell me what you think. So we see Christine use toys to explain to Truly what's going to happen out in the court. Truly says, Mommy was playing with dolls, and it was kind of silly. Moms and dads, they're not supposed to play. They're supposed to work. She was so smart, y'all. She still is, but she was so smart and so stinking cute. As Christine is acting out what will happen, she gets choked up saying that he'll be the dad of them forever. And Truly says, and me too, because Truly doesn't get it. Christine points out that Truly doesn't know the difference because from day one, these have been her siblings, and they have been. So there was not even a need for you to try to explain that to her. We see Leon, who says that this isn't just special for the Birds kids, but it's special for all of them, that they know that what Mary did was hard, but Mary knew that this was important for the whole family. We see Cody and them having family dinner, talking even more about the adoption. I'm over it at this point. Bottom line is they are all nervous, but they've been prepped for court. The same day that they set this court date, we find out is also the 2-year anniversary of his brother Curtis passing. So they tie these two things together. But we saw them as a family pick out this date for the 8th in the attorney's office. So they already knew that this was going to be the date. In Cody's eyes, his brother and his father are helping to get this done. I'm going to leave that part alone because maybe he genuinely feels that way. It's the day of the adoption, and we see everybody getting ready. They go to regional justice where they're hoping to be allowed to adopt. Hunter says, we already consider them family, so it's not much of a difference. We see that the Bird and Cody are nervous. Dayton and Cody tie their ties together. Dayton is nervous because he may have to talk to the judge on his own. You see Mary, and they're playing this somber music. And she is convincing us that it's a good day, even though she seems like it's the saddest day of all. And I'm like, why is TLC playing somber music? It's because they already know that something else is going on with Mary. She gets her phone alerts, she looks at it, and then she puts her phone down. And then we're reminded yet again of how long it's been. We find out from Maddie that they're running a little late, like 5 minutes late. Cody talks about how you normally don't go into a courtroom as a polygamist, that this is the first time where he's going into a courtroom where they're going to judge his parenthood. No judge has ever told him whether or not he had the right to have his kids, and this one will. Cody says they've come over and went through so many challenges, but this is the one thing that may block them. It may be the plural marriages. They are really, really trying to build this moment up with Cody doing this dramatic voiceover as well as the music being played in the background, but I'm not feeling it. Robin does, however, look nervous. She is being sworn in, as she says, before everyone gets in the courtroom. Y'all were supposed to be there at a certain time. Don't sit here and lollygag. Did Madison not tell us that they were running 5 minutes late? You see, this is court, and they're not going to wait around for you. I'll be honest, though. Some of this was probably done just for the sake of the show, because I find it odd that a judge was okay with a TLC camera and production crew filming from the courtroom from behind the judge. We don't see the front of the judge, but we see behind the judge, and we hear his voice. The judge says, "Are we on record?" He gets told, "Yes." You hear, "Good morning. Let's swear in the witness." They're swore in. The judge then says, "I have one question before we begin. Normally we have family in the courtroom. Are you guys okay with the extra bodies?" And Cody says, "This is our family." You trying to tell me that this judge who read over their file, because he didn't know that this was polygamous and that this large group of people behind them was their family? Come on now. Ron begins to ask a series of questions. How long have you all been together? Are you legally married to him? How do the kids feel about being adopted? Do you, Cody, plan on treating them as your children? Do you understand that you'll be responsible for the protection and the support of the minor children? Robin says that he's suddenly asking all these questions, and it just became very clinical, like this isn't something that he's already made them privy to. And it didn't seem clinical. The man told them every single step of the process. I doubt we saw every single time that they went in the office, but we knew that he told them a lot of different parts of this thing, so they knew it was coming. Cody says normally Ron is just calm and easy, but he seems a little nervous. And I'm sitting here like, okay, did I miss something? Did the attorney seem nervous to you all? Because he didn't seem nervous to me. But once again, maybe I'm missing it, because the Feather crew really does have an awareness to things that the rest of us just don't see. We've seen it time and time again with us being told that the kids didn't treat them right. We didn't see that. With Robin being told that her kids have been left out for so long. We didn't see that. With Robin saying that Cody wasn't over her house a lot, when we saw that. So maybe... maybe I'm missing something here. Okay. After he's done asking the questions, you hear him say to the judge, "Do you have any questions, Your Honor?" And the judge says, "Are any of the children over 14? Ron says, "Yes, one. He's signed consent and it's been filed with the court." They point out who Dayton is. You then hear, "Congratulations, I've approved the adoption and the name change." All of this was already determined, because the judge didn't even see Dayton. He didn't even ask the children any questions. If he did, we didn't see it. And I would think that they would show us that, since they built this thing up for so much. You see people crying. They take a picture as a family of 5 in the front by the bench. And then they take a picture as the entire family. But it's not really the entire family. It's the Brown family, Christine's mom, and then Robin's family that also came there too. Cody said in his head and in his heart, this is landmark to him, because this is just something that does not happen. Mary reminds us that this was never about her and her divorce. It was always about the kids. And at this point, I feel like I really want to know, because we know that Mary probably still believes this, but I want to know if the other wives believe this. Do the other wives, what do y'all think? Do you think that this was about the kids, or do you think that this was about Cody getting the heck away from Mary? Because he probably already burnt the rings and did all of that before all of this. And Mary very clearly was distracted. We ain't see a lot of Mary. Mary's been sitting in these confessionals and she hasn't even really been saying anything. Mary's kind of been like, okay, I'm here because I got to be here, but I don't have to say anything. I'll just let them talk and do whatever they do while I just sit here. Cody, as everybody else walks out, is kissing Robin, and he hugs her, and he's red in the face, and they are happy. And that is the end of the episode. I know there are parts that I left out. I did that intentionally because it was a whole bunch of the same stuff over and over and over again. But if there is something that I left out that you would like to speak about, feel free to put it down in the comment section and I will get to it as soon as possible. One of the things that I like is that I've been seeing more interaction in the comment section, and I've been seeing you all interacting with each other, and that's what this family is about. I appreciate it. Your comments help. You hitting that like button helps. It helps tremendously. I don't know how it gets me in the algorithm, but it does. Views alone isn't, enough to do that, but it does help. Let's be clear. It helps a lot. But every little thing helps. And I appreciate you all so much. If you haven't done so already, I just talked about it, like that video. If you've watched me more than once, go ahead and subscribe. I'm serious over here sometimes, but I'm also goofy, trying to, add some things to the channel. You go ahead and scroll through the playlist. I feel like there's a little something for everybody. I'm trying to figure out what my next move is gonna be. But we'll think about all that later. Thank you guys so much. I'm doing that thing that I do where I just ramble. Until next time.